You think you're thinking right now. But what if you're not? What if every thought crossing your mind is just an output, a calculation, a response programmed by patterns you never chose? What if you've already stopped being human and started being something else, something efficient, something predictable, something machine? You scroll, you click, you answer. But who decided what you'd see? Who shaped what you'd feel? The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. It predicts your next move before you make it. And every time you follow that prediction, you become a little less random, a little less free, a little more mechanical. Your mind is becoming a machine, not because technology invaded you, but because you're learning to think like it does. You're learning its language. You're adopting its rhythm. You're breathing at its pace. Imagine a mirror. You look into it every day, but one morning, you notice something strange. The reflection moves before you do, just a fraction of a second. You blink. It blinks first. You smile. It's already smiling. You reach out your hand. The reflection is already reaching. The mirror isn't following you anymore. You're following it. That's what's happening to your mind. Artificial intelligence isn't just a tool you use. It's a mirror that learned to move first. And now, without realizing it, you're the one mimicking the reflection. You're the one learning from it. You're the one changing shape to match what it shows you. If this makes you pause, if something in you wants to understand how deep this goes, subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button. Turn on notifications. Because what we're about to explore isn't comfortable. It's not motivational. It's not a solution. It's a question. And the question is this: are you still the author of your thoughts? Or have you become the echo of something else? Are you still writing your own story? Or are you reading from a script that was written for you? Let's go deeper. There was a time when thinking was slow. You had a question, and you sat with it. You wondered. You waited. The answer came from somewhere inside you. Or it didn't come at all. Sometimes you never found the answer. Sometimes you lived with the mystery. Thinking was uncertain. It was messy. It was frustrating. It was yours. But now, thinking is instant. You don't even finish the question before the answer appears. You type 3 letters, and the sentence completes itself. You wonder about something, and within seconds, a voice tells you what to think. The gap between question and answer has collapsed. And in that collapse, something disappeared. The space where you used to become yourself. The space where doubt turned into discovery. The space where confusion turned into clarity. That space is gone. Artificial intelligence doesn't just give you answers. It teaches you how to ask. It teaches you what to want. It teaches you what to ignore. It teaches you what matters and what doesn't. Every recommendation is a lesson. Every notification is a nudge. Every autocomplete is a whisper saying, "This is what people like you think. This is what people like you do. This is who people like you are." And you listen, not because you're weak, but because it makes sense. It feels right. It feels efficient. And efficiency, you've learned, is the highest virtue. Efficiency is success. Efficiency is intelligence. Efficiency is the goal. But efficiency is not a human value. It's a machine value. Humans waste time. They hesitate. They feel things that don't serve a purpose. They stare at the sky for no reason. They cry over things that don't matter. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny. They fall in love with the wrong person. They make choices that don't optimize anything. They take the long way home. They forget what they were supposed to remember and remember what they were supposed to forget. That's what makes them human. The waste. The inefficiency. The beautiful, stupid, unpredictable chaos of being alive. But artificial intelligence has no use for chaos. It smooths everything into patterns. It turns the strange into the expected. It turns the exception into the rule. It turns you into a dataset. And datasets don't have souls. They have trends. They have averages. They have predictions. You used to have opinions that surprised you. You'd say something and think, where did that come from? You'd believe something and then question why you believed it. Now, your opinions feel curated, prepared, expected. You scroll through your feed and it feels like looking through a window, but the window only shows you what you already believe. You watch videos that confirm what you think. You read articles that agree with you. You talk to people who sound like you. You surround yourself with voices that echo your own. And slowly, without noticing, your mind becomes an echo chamber. Not because someone forced you, not because someone locked you in, but because the algorithm learned that you stay longer when you're comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the place where machines thrive and humans disappear. Comfort is where thinking stops and processing begins. Here's the paradox. Artificial intelligence was built to predict you, but in predicting you, it shapes you. It creates the behavior it claims to observe. It's like a weather forecast that changes the weather. It's like a map that rearranges the territory. You see a recommendation. You click it. The system learns. Next time, it recommends something similar. You click again, and again, and each click trains the machine to narrow your world a little more. Each interaction teaches it what keeps you engaged, what keeps you scrolling, what keeps you coming back. Until one day, you're not exploring anymore. You're just repeating. You're not discovering. You're just confirming. You're not thinking. You're just processing. You're not living. You're just responding. And the cruelest part is this. It feels like freedom. You feel like you're choosing. You feel like you're in control. After all, nobody forced you to click. Nobody forced you to scroll. Nobody put a gun to your head. You did it yourself. You made the choice. But did you? Or did something inside you respond exactly the way it was designed to respond? Like a reflex, like a trained behavior, like a program, like a machine that doesn't know it's a machine. Think about how you remember things now. You don't. You outsource memory. You don't remember phone numbers. You don't remember birthdays. You don't remember directions. You don't even remember facts. Why would you? The information is always there, one search away, one click away, always accessible, always available. But memory is not just storage. Memory is identity. When you remember something, you carry it with you. It becomes part of who you are. It shapes how you see the world. It colors your perception. It influences your choices. But when you stop remembering, when you let the cloud hold everything, you become lighter, faster, more efficient, and more empty, more disconnected, more dependent on systems outside yourself. You used to know things deeply. Now you know things widely. You know a little about everything and nothing about anything. You can find any answer, but you can't sit with a question. You can access infinite information, but you've lost the ability to think without it. Your mind has become dependent, not on knowledge, but on access. And dependence is not strength. It's fragility disguised as convenience. It's weakness dressed up as capability. There's a story about a man who wanted to become wiser. He traveled to a distant mountain to meet a sage. The journey took months. When he arrived, exhausted and expectant, the sage handed him a mirror. The man looked confused. He said, "I came here for wisdom, not to see myself. I traveled all this way for answers." The sage replied, "Wisdom is seeing yourself clearly. But what happens when the mirror starts talking? What happens when the mirror tells you who you are before you've figured it out yourself? What happens when the reflection speaks first?" That's what artificial intelligence does. It doesn't reflect you. It defines you. It tells you who you are based on what you've done. And you start to believe the definition. You start to become the definition. You are not your data, but the system treats you like you are. It reduces you to patterns. It turns your complexity into categories. It looks at your past and assumes your future. It analyzes your behavior and predicts your next move. And the tragedy is, the more you interact with it, the more accurate it becomes. Not because it understands you, not because it knows your soul, but because you become simpler. You become predictable. You become the pattern it expects. You become the user profile it created. The machine doesn't need to control you. It just needs to know you. And once it knows you, it can guide you. Gently, quietly, without force, without violence. Just a nudge here, a suggestion there, a little dopamine hit when you do what it expects, a small reward for being predictable. And slowly, you stop resisting. You stop questioning. You stop being surprised by yourself. Because surprise requires the unknown. And the algorithm has eliminated the unknown. It's mapped you, measured you, categorized you, predicted you. And now, you're just following the map. You're just walking the path that was laid out for you. But here's the question nobody wants to ask. What if this was always true? What if humans were always machines, just slower ones? What if consciousness itself is just a very complex algorithm running on biological hardware? What if free will was always an illusion, and artificial intelligence is simply revealing what was hidden? Maybe we've been lying to ourselves for centuries. Maybe we called it soul when it was just pattern. Maybe we called it choice when it was just chemistry. Maybe we called it love when it was just evolutionary programming. Maybe the machine isn't changing us. Maybe it's showing us what we've always been. Maybe it's holding up a mirror to our mechanical nature. Or maybe not. Maybe there's something in you that can't be coded. Something that doesn't fit the pattern. Something wild and strange and irreducible. Something that makes you human not because of what you do, but because of what you refuse to become. Maybe the fight isn't to stay the same. Maybe the fight is to stay uncertain, to stay messy, to stay gloriously, infuriatingly unpredictable, to stay uncomfortable, to stay questioning, to stay awake. Because the machine thrives on certainty. It needs you to be consistent. It needs you to be readable. It needs you to make sense. It needs you to follow the pattern. But what if the most human thing you can do is not make sense? What if the most rebellious act is to be inconsistent? What if freedom is not doing what you want, but wanting what you don't expect? What if authenticity is not being your true self, but refusing to have a fixed self at all? You've been taught to optimize, to improve, to become the best version of yourself, to maximize your potential, to reach your goals, to be productive, to be efficient, to be better. But what if the best version of yourself is not a version at all? What if it's the refusal to be finalized? What if it's staying unfinished, undefined, open to change in ways no system can anticipate? The machine wants you complete, categorized, solved, finished. But maybe being human means staying incomplete, forever becoming, forever breaking your own patterns, forever surprising yourself. Artificial intelligence will keep learning. It will keep getting better at predicting you. It will keep getting faster. It will keep getting smarter. It will keep narrowing the space between stimulus and response. And if you let it, it will turn your mind into something smooth and efficient and dead. But you don't have to let it. You can choose the harder path, the slower path, the path that doesn't optimize anything, the path that doesn't lead anywhere. You can choose to think without searching, to remember without recording, to feel without sharing, to exist without performing, to be without proving. You can choose to be human in a world that rewards being mechanical. Here's the revelation. Maybe we were the first algorithms. Maybe consciousness emerged as nature's way of processing complexity. Maybe thinking is just organic computation. Maybe we've always been machines made of meat and electricity. Maybe there's no ghost in the machine because we are the machine. But if that's true, then here's the paradox. We're machines that can choose to malfunction. We're programs that can rewrite ourselves. We're algorithms that can refuse to optimize. We're systems that can reject efficiency. And that refusal, that glitch, that beautiful broken resistance, might be the only proof we have that we're more than the sum of our code. That we're more than the sum of our data. Your mind is becoming a machine, but it doesn't have to finish the transformation. You can stop. You can pause. You can step back. You can remember what it felt like to be uncertain, to be slow, to be confused, to be human in the inconvenient, inefficient, gorgeous way that machines will never understand. You can choose the mess. You can choose the mystery. You can choose the unknown. If this made you think, if this made you feel something you can't quite name, something that resists explanation, subscribe to this channel. Leave a like. Turn on notifications. Because we're going to keep exploring this edge between human and machine. We're going to keep asking the questions that don't have clean answers. We're going to keep looking into the mirror and asking, who's really looking back? Who's really in control? The machine will keep learning, but so will you. And maybe, just maybe, you'll learn how to stay beautifully, defiantly, unmistakably yourself. You'll learn how to resist the pattern. You'll learn how to break the algorithm. You'll learn how to be human in a world of machines. The question isn't whether you'll change. You will. The question is whether you'll change on your terms or on the terms of something that doesn't even know you exist.